And welcome back. Here we are live backstage at Hillsong Conference 2011, and we have
JD. I'm here.
That's a bit better than last time around.
Welcome, JD.
It's very good to be hanging out with you guys.
It's good to have you with us.
Up close and personal, you know. I always see you guys on the screen, and actually to be here with you, it's quite an honour.
Likewise.
Oh,
likewise. All right, JD, so how's your week been, man? You've been here at conference, working hard, running back and forth, doing lots of things. What's been going on?
Yeah, I just love that all my friends happen to be walking past right now, kicking me from the back. But anyway, it's been by far the best conference, I think. I know that I really came into this conference like wanting to really kind of be changed by God and His presence, and it's happened for sure. And you know, it's definitely been a big week, and it'll be nice to hopefully, fingers crossed, have a sleep-in tomorrow.
Now, we see the footage we see of you is just of these crazy dancing on stages all around the world. Is that what your life looks like? A series of crazy dances?
No, that's kind of a really small part of my life. It does exist, that part, but I guess, you know, I do get an amazing opportunity to travel with the Hillsong United team, and I do get very excited, especially in the fast songs, and who knows what happens, but yeah, I go crazy. But you know, I guess what consumes the most part of my life is being here in Sydney and building the church, and I've got a role of overseeing the Hills Campus Worship Team, which is, you know, one of our campuses at church here in Sydney, for those that don't know.
So for the people who don't know, how many people is that?
How many people do I oversee?
On the hillside, yeah.
On the hillside, probably about 400. That's like the music team and production and TV.
Yeah. So what's a day in the life?
Well, I guess just getting the key team together, having meetings and seeing, you know, what we're doing that's good and that's working, and we try and do more of that and figure out what's not working and stop doing that, and kind of really just dreaming, I guess, how we can really make the church environment for you know, for the creative people in our team, you know, as best as possible, that we can get people involved and also make, I guess, the church experience for people, you know, as best as that can be.
And for you personally, what does family look like?
Well, I have a beautiful wife, just one, which is good to know, and an amazing little daughter, just one for the moment. She's 18 months, and man, my wife and my daughter, they are, it's the best. It's definitely my favourite thing.
So she's 18 months old. Are you getting any sleep yet?
Well, yes and no. My wife's pretty amazing, and she kind of definitely pulls the weight in the parenting. But I do my best to, you know, to pull my weight, and but yeah, I definitely get less sleep than I did 18 months ago. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
How do you find balancing the family thing with the travel that you're doing?
It's a work in progress, you know. I guess the way that we do quite a bit of travel, but my family is by far the most important thing, and I never want them to come second to what I do with church or United. And so I guess we just take it a year at a time. We get our schedule and we sit down and we go, you know, this is what they're asking. Are we both okay with it? Because if she's not cool with it, I don't want to do it. And you know, so that's what we do. And every year so far, I've been able to fulfill everything that I've been asked. But you know, I know that the people that are asking us to go away want us to put our families first as well. So there's quite a culture of, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, our families don't ever kind of burn out as a price of what we do overseas.
Yeah. Now, Vicky mentioned before, we see you on stage, we see footage of you going crazy. But that aside, you're a worship leader. So what does worship leading mean to you?
Man, the presence of God is just so incredible, and it's such an honour that, you know, God freely allows us to enter His presence. And I know that, you know, I'm so passionate about worshipping because I love how incredible the peace and the joy and the comfort that comes with, you know, the presence of God, and I love it in you know, worship isn't music, but you know, we can use music to worship God, and so I'm really passionate about it. I love it, and so having that opportunity, I think it's the most incredible honour to be able to be one, you know, to lead other people in worship. And for me, it's just trying to do everything I can to get other people to kind of encounter the presence of God, and so, you know, I definitely love it and don't take it for granted at all.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's great to have you with us. I know you're about to go on stage, the final night Hillsong Conference.
Yes.
You pumped?
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's going to be a big ending. So that's
great. Well, thanks for being with us, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, JD.
Much love to everybody.
And we'll be right back. You know, I love being able to just get up close and personal with some of these great men and women of God and just chat to them, you know, and find out what's going on in their world. That's it's been pretty incredible.
It has. Earlier today, we caught up with Nicky Gumbel and had a chat with him, so we'll take a look at that now.
Nicky, it's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve. It's great to be with you.
Now, this is your first time in Australia?
Not our first time in Australia. We've been
First time at the conference.
First time at the Hillsong conference, yeah.
How are you finding it?
We are absolutely, I mean, there just aren't words to describe it. It is so amazing. We've had 3 days of just the love, the welcome, but also the inspiration. There is so much. I don't think I've ever had 3 days in which I've learned so much or been inspired so much and seen a model that is so the thing that we want to do. And so that we were leaving here thinking we've got to have a revolution when we get home. This is amazing.
That's terrific.
Phantasmagorical is how somebody, because I said at the conference I don't have a word for it, and they suggested phantasmagorical, which doesn't do it, but it's better than any other word.
We can go with that word. That's a good word. I think you couldn't top that one if you tried. Now, Nicky, people know you for your work at the Church of Holy Trinity Brompton back in London, but more so for the Alpha course. Take us back to how that was birthed and how it started. Today it's become a worldwide phenomenon, but take us back to how it was started.
Well, I didn't start it. It was started by someone called Charles Marnham and his wife Tricia. She came up with the name Alpha. It was 6 people, a 6-week course for new Christians, and it grew. And other people added a weekend, turned it into a 10-week course, which is what it is today, plus a weekend on the personal work of the Holy Spirit. And then it grew more. And then Nicky and Stella Lee ran it for about 5 years, and it grew more. And then I took it on in October 1990. And what I found was we were getting a whole lot of people from outside of the church coming, people who wouldn't call themselves Christians. So we decided to change the course and aim it for people outside of the church. And at that point, it just exploded. It grew to now we have sometimes up to 1,000 people coming on our course. We run it 3 times a year. And other churches started to run it, and now there are 55,000 churches around the world registered as running it, and 16.5 million people have done the course, and it's in over 100 languages. So we've just watched in astonishment this explosion around the world.
So it really took a shift from being a course for Christians to a course for seekers or for non-Christians.
Yes, that was, I think, probably the big shift, because certainly in the UK, there are many more people outside the church than there are inside the church. And it was at that point it really took off and it grew. And people felt confident to bring their friends because they had an experience. It's very low-key, relaxed, unthreatening, unpressurized, based on respect for people. And people who are not Christians, who will have these questions. What's the point of life? What happens when I die? Is forgiveness possible? But they don't have a context where they can discuss that. If you go to a football match and you say, what do you think the meaning of life is? People just think you're crazy. Go to a pub, you say, what do you think the point of all this is? So, But here's a context where they could ask those questions. With other people who are not Christians there, no one's going to correct them. No one's going to preach at them. No one's going to laugh at them. They're just going to listen to them. And they talk to each other. It's not the leaders preaching at the guests. It's the guests talking to each other. And in that process, because of course they hear a talk, they hear, as they come back, they hear, who's Jesus? Why did he die? Faith, the Bible, prayer, the church. And this acts as a process. And we just found so many of them were coming to faith in Jesus. And not only that, they were so excited, they were bringing their friends on the next course. So it was kind of like a snowball. Each course was growing. More and more people were coming to faith. And then they were telling their stories and other people were coming. It was friends bringing friends. And that's how it is. It continues to be friends bringing friends. Mainly young people. 75% are aged between 18 and 35.
Is that right?
Average age is 27.
Wow.
It's incredible.
So tell us a bit about you, because you didn't grow up in the church, did you?
No, I was brought up, well, I wasn't brought up as an atheist, but my father was an atheist.
Right.
And my mother was not a churchgoer. And I sort of became an atheist. They didn't sort of teach me to be an atheist at all, far from it. But it's just, we were not a church-going family. I didn't have a Christian background at all. So I came to faith in my first year at university through a friend. Well, not that he was trying to lead me to faith, it's just that he and his wife, Nicky and Stella Lee, who run the marriage course now, they came to faith. And I wanted to really help them. So that was why I read the New Testament, and in reading the New Testament, I came to faith myself.
Wow, and you were studying law? Or you went to be a barrister?
I went on to study law, and then I practiced as a barrister for a number of years, yes.
And decided that was enough?
No, I love being a barrister, and if I ever did anything other than what I'm doing at the moment, I would want to be a barrister because I love my job. It's a fantastic, exciting life being a barrister. But I had a real passion to communicate faith in Jesus to people outside of the church. And so I didn't know which to do, because I love
It's kind of similarities, fighting for truth.
It was good training. In a way, it was good training, because you have to present a case. I'm quite a shy person. I'm an introvert, and it was really hard for me to get up in court and present a case, because I'm not a natural sort of speaker. So I had to learn how to present a case, and I also you have to give people advice, and so that's almost like sort of counselling, pastoral, and then you have to write opinions. And so that's very good for preparation for writing books. So in a way, it was extraordinary training for what I'm doing now.
That's terrific. Well, let's dig a little deeper. Let's find out the real Nicky Gumbel. We want to ask you a few questions, random, just to find out a bit about you. Firstly, how do you take your coffee?
How do I take my coffee? I take it early in the morning, very strong.
Oh.
And I only have 1 cup a day. I try only to have 1 cup a day, but that 1 cup is pretty powerful.
Do you have milk in it?
I have milk, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I've given up decaf. I think decaf's not. I used to drink a lot of decaffeinated coffee.
It's not
really,
It doesn't do anything for you, really.
No.
So I just have 1 really powerful cup of coffee.
That's good.
Speaking of mornings, what's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning?
Well, I did this thing, the 1-year Bible, which Sandy Miller, who was the vicar of HTV, gave me a Bible 20 years ago. And it has like a psalm, a proverb, a bit of the New Testament, a bit of the Old Testament. And I've been doing it for 20 years. And 2.5 years ago, I started emailing the congregation with my thoughts from the passage each day. And my wife Pippa adds a bit at the end, which says Pippa adds. And I've been doing that for 2.5 years, and it's grown. More and more people are getting this email. Yeah. And most of them just scroll down and read the Pippa ads at the bottom. Because I write mine sort of long and very boring, and at the end she just writes, haven't got time to do it, I'm washing my hair or something. And then, or she writes she usually writes a very, very succinct, very powerful little thought at the end, so they all scroll down and just read her bit.
All right, tell us, have you had any embarrassing stage moments?
Any embarrassing
stage moments?
How long have you got?
Just one.
I've had lots of embarrassing. I'm not very good at. I find preaching quite a daunting task. And
most preachers do, I think.
Yeah, it's this kind of thing. I don't do very much preaching now in our church. I get all the younger guys to do it. I've just come actually from doing a talk here, and I got up and I said I was going to give 6 points on evangelization, and I started the introduction, and I was just about to start my first point when my wife and Tom, who's been looking after me here, they jumped up and said, Time's up. I hadn't even gone on to my first point.
So you're a digresser.
Well, I'm not normally, but I think I was just enjoying. You have such a great crowd here. They're so responsive. I was so enjoying having fun, chatting, banter, that I forgot that the time had gone.
Well, I'm sure everyone here has enjoyed having you here.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for joining us this morning as well.
We loved it, every moment.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much indeed.